Hello and welcome to the Coffee Talkie Show, the podcast for women living abroad. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you. Thank you. And today we have an important topic on our podcast, and it's about taking responsibility, but not those, things that you don't want to do and lame responsibilities. Those are responsibilities for your life.
So many times, we feel like life's controlling us, other things are controlling us, circumstances are controlling us, other people, governments, situations, life, things like that. And it's very natural. We've been there ourselves, and maybe you can relate to this as well. Time to take back responsibility. But let's talk how exactly and what does it mean? So do you have your coffee?
Take your coffee, your notebooks, your notes, and let's begin. So, love, right? So many things are happening out there. The world is moving, changing. Things are happening. We're not living in the easiest times, right?
No.
The economy is not at its best. Governments, politics, wars.
And
things are not that good, right?
It's actually everywhere. There's no one place on earth right now that you can be like, ooh, there, everything's perfect. There's
maybe
no
Fiji.
I don't even know. I don't know. Maybe if you're from Fiji, please do let us know. But you hear it from every single angle. People, there's a lot going on. And there's a sense that we lost a little bit control of our own lives. And, this is in the broad scale of things. But even in our day-to-day life, if you're moving abroad, if you're living abroad, if you're just alive, to say, and there's a sense like this of who's in charge here?
And maybe sometimes it's even easier and more comfortable to just say, the politics, this government, they don't know what they're doing, or it's the climate change, what can I do? It's just horrible. That's it, and that's our life, and that's its world, and we're all gonna die.
And let's turn the camera off and.
No!
What I want to talk to you is, there is a funny thing that I see a lot of times, and correct me if I'm wrong. Every place believes that they are the craziest ones, always complaining. In Israel, everyone would say to me, Israelis are complaining all the time. And then I come to France and you talk to French people and they're like, ooh, we probably have a lot of work here because we complain all the time. And you talk to Brits and they say the same about themselves. And you talk to Dutch and they say the same about themselves. And you talk to everyone and they say the same about themselves. Meaning, what we love to do as human beings is complain. And, there is this notion of whatever's going on in our lives, whatever's going on. It's so easy to sit down and be like, you know what? This is happening because this is happening because that. This is the fault of him. This is the fault of her. This is the blame. Everyone and everything around us. It's so common.
Yeah.
We've done it.
Yeah, and especially when moving abroad to a new country, and then there are challenges. Of course there are challenges. You're moving to a new country, but so many times we see, and we've been there as well, you start blaming this new country. Oh my God, I can't do this here because French people are there, or I can't deal with Italian bureaucracy, or start blaming even the weather in England, for example. What are you blaming the weather for? Who is it helping?
Beside you complaining. And sometimes it does help. Let's be honest. Sometimes just
to vent is
okay.
But what we're trying to do here today and to say here today, and those blaming and throwing the responsibility back to someone else, and it doesn't really matter to who, it doesn't really serve you and doesn't really help you create a life you actually enjoy living, okay? Okay, it's nice to vent a little bit, but does it make your life better?
Like 10 minutes after you vent, what changed besides you releasing a little bit of the steam? The thing is, we need to take back the control on our own lives, take back responsibility, and the more positive we'll do it, the nicer it will be for our own lives, but also we will feel like we're in charge of what's going on. Now, don't get us wrong, and we'll talk about it in a minute. You cannot control everything. Not everything in this world is your responsibility, okay?
Most of the things are not your responsibility, and it's not about taking control as in controlling everything. It's about taking responsibility of yourself in this world.
Okay, so let's try and give examples of maybe what do we mean by that, okay? I think one of them is when we're moving abroad, okay? This is something relevant for us right now. You're looking for an apartment. It's so easy to be like, oh, the French people, the Dutch people, the Italian people, the Spanish people, it's so hard. They make it harder. It's impossible to find an apartment here. They do it against me. It's happening like to me. Why is it happening to me? All those things, okay? When we talk about taking responsibility, can you change right now the situation, the government, the system, the process? Probably not, okay? You cannot, and it's not yours to control. It's not your responsibility. But your responsibility is what can you do within this situation that is gonna serve you better? What is your role in this game that you're playing that is called your own life? Okay? What are you doing? Are you really doing everything in your power to find a place? Maybe you need to hire someone for help. Maybe you need to
find more documents, provide other things, look for other solutions sometimes. So we talked about it in another episode as well, but basically there are two main things you could do. There are actual steps, things you can actually do. Make sure that you do everything that you can. Okay, that this is you taking responsibility for your situation. Don't just wait for things to happen, because usually when you wait for things to happen, they don't happen as you want them to happen.
They happen as someone else wants them to happen.
So that's one thing. Be active in your life. Be responsible of it. And the second thing would be your emotional state, your mindset, the way you are when you approach those situations. Meaning, how you look at the situation, how you react to the situation, what do you do, what do you say, what do you think about the situation. All of those are yours to control. Those are your responsibilities. Because if you come to, fill in some papers for bureaucracy, renew your visa, for example, when you're living abroad, and you come and you're all stressed out and you're like, oh, there are stupid system, it doesn't work, it's overcomplicated, I can't deal with it, then first of all, you're blaming the system.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help you to blame the system. It can't respond to you, the system. But again, you feel like there is nothing you can do against the system. It's too big and you're too small and there's nothing you can do. But there's always something you can do. You can come with a smile. You can come with optimism. You can make a joke. You can come really organized and prepared with all the documents, all the files that are needed. You can hire someone. You can ask for help. You can do a lot of things. Okay? But blaming and waiting for things to come won't take you very far.
And those are big things that we're talking about. But I want to give you an example of day-to-day life relevant to expats that I had to deal with some friends a couple of weeks ago. A friend of mine came to me and she was like so in a bad situation, saying like what she came to Paris. She understands it's a city, but what she loves is nature, and she only wants to go out of the city, visit other places, do other things, and no one ever do that, and we never do that, and she's frustrated and I was like, did you ever say it clearly? Hey, I want to go out of the city. Let's do this. And did someone say no to you? Or did you just assume that this is what's going on, never saying anything, and then just going with the flow, living other people's lives because you didn't take responsibility for your own? And I said to her even more, what would happen if you decide to go by your own? Because this is your life. If everyone else wants to go to do city stuff and you want to go in nature, great. It's your life. Do what works for you. Otherwise, you're living someone else's life. So if you're not taking responsibility for the things, well, they will not happen just the way you want them to be. Like, think about that. In every situation, it's true for the food you're eating. It's true for the sports you're doing. It's true for the places you're visiting, how you're visiting. Then it's even true which road you're taking on when driving. If you're the driver, you decide which road you're taking, right? The GPS can tell you what to do, but eventually you make the decision. But the person sitting next to you, they can tell you what to do, but they are not making the decisions.
So basically what you want to do is sit in the driver's seat and decide for yourself. So we don't mean for you to always do only what you want, not, taking any consideration, especially when you're moving abroad, you want to...
Sometimes sitting in the passenger side is really, really nice. I love that.
Relaxing.
Like, who can someone drive?
And you touched on a very important point here, because we have a tendency to think that taking decisions and being responsible is harder. Okay, and you say to yourself something, well, I just want to sit near the driver and relax and do nothing. And that's okay, but that's also a decision.
That's all.
When you make it from a responsible point of view, like you say, hey, what I need right now in my life in order to live it as I want is to relax and, take a step back and let someone else lead. That's okay. That's your choice. But if you're making it consciously, then it's different than you're just like, hey, I'm going to sit here and complain all the time about the road you're taking.
Because that's not helping you. Not you, not the person next to you, not everyone around you in your surrounding. But, so I think if we'll break it into a couple of points that you can think of and look at your life and look at what you're doing in your life, right? So number one would be, is this thing mine to even take responsibility of? Or like, who's this?
Just let it go.
Or just let it go. Maybe it's not yours.
Weather, for example, okay? We see a lot of women moving to a new country and having to adjust to a new weather, climate, way of dealing with weather, okay? I can tell you, for example, that in Israel, when it's cold, raining, nobody goes outside. It's like few drops and everybody goes inside the house and that's it. The day is over. You can dinner, shower, and finish the day, even if it's 4 o'clock. But here in France, and I know it's the same, in UK, in Scandinavia, I know, when it's cold, that's totally fine to be outside. It's super important to be outside, especially if you have kids. When I first arrived here and I saw that there is, 8 degrees outside and all the mothers are in the park with their kids, and that's totally normal. So you put a heavy coat, you put a hat on, a scarf sometimes, and that's it. And all the mothers are sitting in the park only if it's like crazy rain or snowing, then you do something else. But it's totally fine to be outside. And you can, take a step back and say, oh, those crazy French people, those crazy Norwegian, Finnish, they're crazy. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be sick. I'm like going to close everything and then wonder, for example, why you don't make connections and relationships. That's another story.
No, but they're all interconnected, right?
Or you can start taking responsibility. Say, okay, I'm looking at this. This is what they're doing. I'm going to try. I'm going to ask. So maybe they have, some tips and tricks of how to be outside in this kind of weather. For example, don't wear very small, tiny socks with sneakers when it's raining.
Yeah, it's cold. It's very cold.
That's a tip for me.
We've done it.
After 2 years in a French winter.
I remember like when I arrived to France, the first 6 months of first winter, again, after years not living here, and I didn't understand why I'm always cold. Always cold. I was like, that's not possible. I lived in London. I knew how, and I was like, damn it, you tiny socks with no, with tiny shoes, tiny socks.
Your ankles are
always cold. Yeah, always cold. And if you're cold on your feet, you're always cold. Like that's
so you can't control the weather, okay? You can't, nobody can, okay? But what you can do is take responsibility and say, okay, this is the situation I can't control, but what can I do in order to make my life here easier? And if everybody is going out, try to go out as well. Try to bond, try to make connections, try to just, let your body understand that it's okay to be a little bit cold or a little bit hot or different
than what you're used to. And so, as we said, the number one thing, and if you're taking notes, write it down. Number one is to ask yourself, is it mine to control? And is it my responsibility, this thing? So weather is not your responsibility. And other people, unless they're your tiny kids.
And even then.
They're not your responsibility. They're not yours to control. You can influence, you can impact, you can ask, you can talk, but you cannot make them do anything you want. Systems, government, countries, cultures, languages, all those things are not yours. But ask yourself, is it mine? And if it is, then the second part of it, the part of taking responsibility that you said and mentioned a couple of times, I believe that the easiest way to understand it is to ask ourselves, what is my role in this situation? What role am I playing here? And you can play a lot of different roles, okay? You can be a lot of different characters in your own role play, but what is the role in the current situation? Am I passive? Am I active? Am I playful? Am I super serious? And what am I doing here? And this is the responsibility that we're inviting you to take, because understand what is the role that you're taking, and therefore what are the actions and thoughts and approaches that you take with regard to the different situations.
And when doing this, process, and it's very quick, right? It happens in your head most of the time. When you're doing this process, you understand how you are responsible for yourself in this life and how you can influence your life and create a life. This life, you can really impact it. Impact this, situation of yours. This is yours. We hear so many times, again, women, our clients that are moving with a partner, for example, feeling that there's nothing they can control. They don't decide of the destination. They don't decide which house they're going to live in. They can't decide, which language they're going to talk. They can't decide anything. But then we show them how they can be responsible for themselves in this situation. Because even if you find yourself living in Colombia for 2 years in a house where you can't get out and you have two maids that you don't want to, but they're here, and you don't have a working visa and you don't speak Spanish, and there is nothing you can do. Even if this is the situation, you can decide to sit down, crying all day, be miserable. You can decide to become an alcoholic and drink wine all day, waiting for time to pass. You can decide to build your own business, have it back in the UK, for example. That's okay. You can start volunteering. You can start, getting really serious into sport workout. You can decide to find friends. You can decide to start playing the piano if you want. You can do a lot of things.
It's your life.
But this is your decision. Take responsibility back to yourself. Move from the seat beside the driver to the driver's seat. Put your hands
on the wheel
and drive. This is your life. And I think one thing that maybe we didn't emphasize enough of why is it good for you to take responsibility for your life.
And it's because it's yours. It's that simple. We didn't emphasize it because for us, it's like, if you've been listening to us for a while, we're saying it a lot. This is your life. No one else's. And there's no do-over, there's no rehearsal dinner, there's no, let's
go back 10 years.
No, there's nothing like that. We only go forward. Every second that passes will never come back. So every decision that we make is our decision. As Maayan just mentioned, there's always a choice. Not doing anything is a choice. Deciding to blame everyone is a choice. This is your life. This is our life. And we've been passive in different areas in our lives for different reasons. We've been there. We've done that. And then at some point we're like, wait a second. Where those 5 years went by? How did that happen? And we realized, I know personally, I realized I was sitting on a passenger seat for way too many years, thinking I'm in control of my life, realizing I'm actually living a life of flowing by the river, letting the water takes me wherever it goes, not trying to actually sit on the boat and be like, but I don't want to go there. Sure, the water stream takes me in the direction, but
at least, sometimes it's okay to not always be in control. And again, it's not about controlling everything, but being responsible, okay? Because you can decide to just shift a little bit your boat and then let it flow. Let it, flow and let the water take you, and that's okay. You don't have to always be in control.
I was just talking about it with a friend, as she asked me what are we planning to do on our holidays. And one of the things I told her, I was like, my holiday,
this vacation.
Yeah, this vacation that we're going. Yeah, holiday vacation, different languages.
You breathe.
I said to her, I am really comfortable with a semi-organized holiday. I would have some days that I know what we're doing, and some days that intentionally I don't want to make any decision, and I just want to, Pocahontas, go where the wind takes me and just flow and just go and see what's going on. I loved when I've done it in the UK a couple of months ago, when I just went outside of the station without any destination in hand, and I was like, I need to be back at the train station in 9 hours. What's going to happen between now and in 9 hours? I don't know. Just going like this. So this is where we talk about you can take responsibility for your life without having everything being super controlled all the time.
Yes,
but you know it's yours.
Absolutely. And again, I think the word control here maybe confuses, and it's more about the responsibility to take. Because even if you decide that you want to just go with the flow, who are you when you go with the flow? Are you going with the flow and, whining all the time? Oh, I really don't want to be here. This is crazy.
Why is it going fast?
Program. Why? Okay. Do you want to be this person, or just decide to go with the flow and like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I'm discovering so many things right now. This is a journey. That's okay. I'm gonna let myself relax a little bit and enjoy it.
I have a weird story to share with you that just to show you that it's part of its life, right? And if you ever hear it, I'm sorry. But once, I went with friends to Disneyland. Disneyland, it's an amazing place, right? I'm a big fan. Went with a couple of friends, and we decided to go on this ride. To be honest, I didn't remember what this ride was about. I've done it a couple of years earlier. It's called Crush something. Nemo Crush. So I Nemo, it's fun. And my friend that doesn't like big roller coasters and things like that, she asked me about 10 times, do I know what the ride is about? And I was like, no, I don't. I literally don't. There are kids waiting in queue. The height is not really crazy. I guess it's fast, but I don't know because it's Nemo thing. But I don't know. And she decided to queue with us the entire thing. And then she went with us on it. And she hated it to her guts. She hated me for weeks after years. Probably if she's listening to this, she probably hates me as well for saying it. And she blamed me for going there. How did I made her go there? And I was like, I didn't do anything. That was not my responsibility. You're an adult. You could open your phone, read about the ride. You could make a decision. You could ask other people. You made a decision. It's your life to actually go on this ride. Why are you blaming me? And it's super, it's a funny way to show it to you, but it's exactly that. Every single moment you have responsibility for what you're doing or not doing in your life. So take it.
Yeah, and moving abroad is a crazy ride,
It's a crazy ride. It's a
crazy,
Nemo crazy ride.
It's a crazy ride.
I love that crazy rides.
Whether you realize it or not yet, this is your responsibility, and you made this choice because there's always a choice. So better take back the responsibility, understand that, oh my God, I made that choice.
I'm on the ride.
I'm on the ride. What can I do now to enjoy it? And there's a lot of things you could do to enjoy it. And we really recommend you listening to other episodes that we recorded, because we talk a lot about creating this life abroad that you actually enjoy living. So creating this crazy ride and actually enjoying it.
Yeah, I think that's everything we are here for and we believe in our core. Life is about living fully, not having your eyes wide open and just looking around
or waiting for time to pass by, or systems to change, or people to change,
if you're abroad, you don't know for how long. Don't wait for the flight ticket to go back to your home country, then to tell yourself, what have I done those 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years in this country? How did it pass so quick?
And even before, don't wait for your friend to call you. If you want to talk to your friend, call her. Don't wait for your mom to come. If you want to visit, go visit your mom. Don't wait for your partner to come and comfort you. If you need some comfort, go ask for it. Don't wait for French people to come and ask you, hey, can you be my friend? No, if you want to be friend with others, go. Be active, take responsibility, do it yourself. This is for you. It's not for anyone else.
And there's a quote we love. Maybe you heard us saying it before. We'll say it again. Life is never happening to you. It's happening for you. And if we only shift this thought and we only start to see that it's happening for us, then we start living in a way better life, in my opinion. Because even the things that we could easily blame or feel hard about or be sad about, and true, there are lows. Don't get us wrong. Listen to different episodes. You'll see us talking about the lows as well. But even in the lows, it's happening for us. There's a reason. Ask ourselves, what is our responsibility in those low moments so we can actually climb back up and do things so we can create the life we actually enjoy living at any single moment.
Absolutely. I think this really sums up amazingly this episode, and we really hope it was valuable to you and that you took some notes and that you are going to take some responsibilities for your life, for yourself. And if you want to share them with us, we'll be really happy to read them. So you can comment here below or just send us a message. You can send us an email or on social media. We're always here for you.
Yeah, and by the way, we wrote this ebook a while ago, Change Your Glasses. We talk there even more about taking positive responsibility. It's an essential guide with simple steps on what can you do to take positive responsibility. So if you want it, the links are here somewhere in the caption. You can go download it. It's free for you to read. Just go, enjoy it, and take positive responsibility over your own life.
Absolutely.
We wish you an amazing week. And we'll see you soon.